Ladies and gentlemen, William Barr is going to decide whether or not Democrats get Trump's taxes. According to Steve Mnuchin, or according to a letter written to Congress after the House, Democrats in the House wanted Trump's taxes. They have not given a specific, they have not accused Trump, just like with Trump Russia, that was fabricated from Clinton purchasing the Steele dossier and the Democrats outsourcing CrowdStrike and two intelligence reports that I addressed today in The Federalist. James Clapper knew there was no collusion in 2016. Share that article below everywhere, throughout social media. I just published today in The Federalist, very, very proud. And it's basically James Clapper not only told Chuck Todd there was no evidence, but the ODNI and DHS reports state that their judgment or their assessment should not be confused with fact because they could be wrong. They literally state they can be wrong. And the Mueller's team, the Mueller report says this happened, that happened. They have no evidence of anything. They're relying on a CrowdStrike assessment. But anyway, that's Company One and all the indictments of people allegedly who hacked the DNC, the Russians. But anyway, this is hilarious. Treasury Secretary misses timeline for providing Trump tax returns to House panel. Well, first of all, the House panel has no authority to issue any directives stating, oh, you must give Trump's taxes by this time. They have no authority. They have no authority because Trump is not under investigation. He actually was never under investigation for Trump-Russia collusion. James Comey stated he was not specifically under investigation. It was everyone around him that they fabricated. And like, it worked. He didn't get indicted for collusion or any attempt to conspire to defraud the U.S. government, which I write in The Federalist. That's the statute they will use actually against James Comey, Strzok, and McCabe and others. The statute they wanted to use against Trump, there is no collusion statute. What they wanted to use against Trump was the specific statute that talked about if you conspire against the United States government, you conspire to defraud the U.S. government, that is against the law for any reason. And they failed to indict Trump because there was no evidence. They didn't indict Clinton, even though James Baker and Lisa Page agreed with me. These are top FBI, the FBI officials, one of whom is under criminal investigation, along with Andrew McCabe, James Baker, stated that Clinton should have been indicted. That was a cover-up. So she committed crimes, and then there was a cover-up. With Trump, they fabricated allegations of some kind of potential crimes, and then they couldn't find anything after 2 years, and then they said, oh, well, you know what, there's a cover-up, and da-da-da. The Mueller team existed. This was like hardcore partisan Democrats who gave over $50,000 combined to Democratic politicians in the DNC. That's according to Axios. But they found nothing. And now they're still like, well, you know, he accepted information from Russia. Clinton purchased the Steele dossier with help from Russian sources. It's like they're clueless. They're oblivious to their own propaganda. Their own propaganda undermines them. They don't see it. But anyway, in a 10-page letter to House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Mnuchin said Democrats' requests for Trump's tax returns raise constitutional and privacy issues that need to be resolved by the Justice Department before he could make a decision on how to proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you know right now, William Barr has already refused, and he will formally refuse next week, or on May 6th, so 2 weeks from now. They're not going to get Trump's taxes because he didn't commit a crime. Now, you have some pundits on the left, and they're like, well, you know, he inflated his net worth. When? For what deal? For what business venture? For what real estate endeavor? For what Hollywood project? For what branding or licensing agreement? What? What did he do? Trump has been on the Forbes list forever. And then you have the IRS targeting conservatives. But he's been, and I'll get to that in a second, the Democrats have a history of utilizing the United States government against their political opponents. We saw that with James Clapper. I explained that in my Federalist article below. Share it everywhere, please, ladies and gentlemen. Also, today's the 104th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, where 1.5 million Armenians were murdered in the Ottoman Empire. I write in the Times of Israel, the U.S. and Israel should formally recognize the Armenian genocide. Please share that article also below. That's in the pinned comment and description, as well as the Federalist article today. But you have, let's just look at Trump, Forbes. Let's just look at 2013. So this is when, Trump wasn't a big problem to humanity. Nobody called him racist. He wasn't a problem. This is, let's see. Let's see here. Donald Trump. He had a net worth of $3.9 billion in 2014. Okay? $3.9 billion. This is in 2014. Okay? I don't remember Democrats or CNN or disgruntled haters saying, he's not really worth $3.9 billion in 2014. This is 2014. Forbes Billionaires, full list of world's 500 richest people. May 3rd, 2014. Okay? Okay. He's 388th at $3.9 billion on this list. All right. Now, he had a net worth of $3.9 billion in 2014, and nobody was talking about his taxes. Nobody was talking about his ties to Russia. Nobody was talking about anything. Find an article from 2013 saying that the Russians had something on him or that he was trying to be cultivated. So let's just, 2015, Trump, Forbes, richest. Okay, so Trump, this is in 2016. They weren't talking about his taxes really then either. I mean, kind of, but October 4th, Trump falls 35 spots on the Forbes 400. Okay. Now, they say that he's enriching himself. His presidency is trying to be, media has denigrated and tried to undermine and tried to sabotage his presidency from day one. The emoluments clause is tied to the potential legal violation of enriching yourself from your post, accepting bribes from foreign nations, okay? And they say, well, all his business deals. He's losing money. Okay, this is what AOC, when they're like, AOC's like, they're like, why do you want to impeach Trump? It's like, emoluments. The emoluments, okay, he's losing money from being a politician. Both Clintons never had a business of their own, never started anything, never did anything other than politics, and then utilized their foundation as a giant money laundering scheme. The emoluments clause of the Constitution directly relates. I mean, do you think the founding fathers, do you think Washington, Jefferson, Adams, you think all of these people, Madison, you think all of these people didn't understand? You think all of these people didn't understand that accepting money from foreign nations, bribes, this is, look, the XYZ affair. This is okay. The XYZ affair was a diplomatic incident between the French and United States diplomats that resulted in a limited, undeclared war known as the, okay, so U.S. and French negotiators restored peace in the Convention of, so this was regarding tribute. So, U.S. diplomats went to France and wanted to speak to the king. Wanted to speak to diplomats, but in order to do so, they had to pay a tribute and basically pay a bribe, and they refused to do so. Okay? And No, not a sixpence. Okay, after John Adams became president in March 1797, he dispatched 3-member delegation to Paris later that same year in an effort to restore peace between the two countries. Once the diplomats, Pinckney, along with John Marshall and Elbridge Gerry, arrived overseas, they tried to meet with France's foreign minister, Charles de Talleyrand. Instead, he put them off and eventually had 3 agents inform the U.S. commissioners that in order to see him, they first would have to pay him a hefty bribe and provide France with a large loan. What do you think the Clinton Foundation exists to do? To meet him. It wasn't, the quid pro quo was just a meeting. 85 donors gave $156 million to the Clinton Foundation, and oh, by the way, met with Clinton. That's in the Associated Press. That relates directly to U.S. history, the XYZ affair. But you can't expect the wonderful brainiacs and geniuses in Congress on the Democratic side to even, like, read a history book or know anything about history. We would never allow in this country, ever, especially in the beginning, a foundation, a charitable foundation, to just accept money from corporations, from businesses, from wealthy individuals, from foreign donors, from foreign countries, and then allow this consistent quid pro quo transactions, the litany of quid pro quo pay-to-play schemes take place. Uranium One, selling 20% of U.S. uranium capacity, allowing the sale to go through because then they get you on, oh, he didn't, nobody sold it. It was a deal that, no, okay, my God. With Trump, it's like Manafort did something 10 years ago, bought an ostrich feather jacket, and that means that Putin is now spooning with Trump in bed. It's like they connect the dots when they want to that have nothing, that you shouldn't even connect those dots. But here you have U.S. history that directly undermines, there's a direct link between what the Founding Fathers, what John Adams opposed, and Jefferson and all of them, which is money from foreign nations taken as a bribe. They opposed this. That's exactly what Clinton and President Obama's administration did with the Uranium One deal. Money flowed into the Clinton Foundation. Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin at his home. He got a $500,000 speaking gig, and we know from the DNC emails that there was 500 conflicts of interest between Bill Clinton. They called it Bill Clinton Inc. because of the Clinton Foundation. It's a networking and money laundering scheme. So Boeing not only pays the Clinton Foundation to have Hillary hook them up with a deal in Russia, but Hillary then says, hey, we have another deal we're raising money for Haiti in the earthquake, so give money there. So then Boeing gives money there. And while they do it, there's more money raised. It's a bigger networking function. You have Boeing executives meeting up with other officials or other people who are donating money. It's a giant networking scheme. $10 billion. $10 billion was raised from people who had given money to the Clinton Foundation for prior reasons, for reasons that have nothing to do with Haiti. So, and then 3% of the money is given to the people of Haiti. I mean, it's endless. The scandals are endless with Clinton. But here, and we have, the reason I'm harping on this, I mean, UBS, for example, they have like 4,000 plus people the IRS wanted, and suddenly it's like 500 because they gave, they gave money to the Clinton Foundation, then they hook up Bill with a $1.2 million speaking arrangement. And so it's just unbelievable. It's like, who was it? The Lance Armstrong, that was that documentary that he actually engaged in. What was it like? He took the performance enhancing or something like that. No. It was blood doping during the race. Like during the race, he went into a trailer and then engaged in some, act that was against the rules, but it was like nobody could imagine that he would do that. Like, why would you even do that? But it was so overt. It was so overt that nobody even thought that it was possible. Same with the Clinton Foundation. It's overt. Here, Boeing gift to help reconstruct Haiti's public education system. A Boeing contribution, $900,000, will help support the reconstruction. That was given to a subsidiary of the Clinton Foundation. Most of 97% of all of this money never made it to the people of Haiti. But it was part of building up the Clinton Foundation. That's why you have consistent pay-to-play schemes. That's why you had 85 donors who gave $156 million just to meet with Clinton, which directly relates to the XYZ affair. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. They want to look at Trump's taxes just because they don't, they don't like contributed $900,000 to the Haiti Recovery Commission that was linked to the Clinton Foundation. This is Boeing. So it's like, but the bottom line is they haven't accused him of anything. When you know that they're just going after Trump because they found no collusion for 2 years. They found no collusion, but to them, that's the way politics is played. That's the way politics is played. As long as they can play that way. I mean, this is, if you have just a simple grasp of U.S. history, you can see the correlation between the XYZ affair and the Clinton Foundation. They didn't bring up the emoluments clause when it came to the Clinton Foundation. But with Trump, he's actually losing money. He's one of the first. He's the first person in U.S. history to become, or one of the few people, I should say, to become president and actually have his pocketbook decrease because he's president. Every other, people are not really going to pay him for speaking. They're not going to pay him speaking fees. They might. Because after 8 years, we're going to be a better country. So they might, but it's not going to be like a real estate deal. $500,000 from a Moscow investment bank is a lot of money to Bill Clinton. $1.2 million from UBS is a lot of money to Bill Clinton. He's worth, between him and his wife, like over 100, close to $200 million, something like that. Or over 100 million. A lot of money, but every million counts. You got Trump, he's like 3.9 billion. Okay, and they're like, oh, he's not really worth that. Okay, then 1 billion. What do you want? It's like, what do you want? Like, they're so petulant. They're so petulant. So William Barr is not going to. William Barr already said, no, there's no obstruction. It's ridiculous. He's confirmed no collusion. He's confirmed that, they spied on Trump's campaign. And he was like, well, we have to find out if it's. He's going to investigate the beginning of all that nonsense. He's going to find out why Strzok and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan and Comey. I don't want to sneeze. I'm about to sneeze right now. He's going to find out why these people investigated when they knew, and I explained they did not know. They did not know. I explained in my Federalist article today, you share it everywhere. If you're on social media, I am not on Twitter. Let people know I am not. That's a fake account. Illegally sharing my books on Amazon, but if you want a virus, But I am not on I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. But if you are, share my latest Federalist article below. Get it viral. It's very, very, very important that people understand this hoax was perpetrated perpetrated by people who knew there was no Trump-Russia collusion. There was no Trump-Russia collusion. There was no evidence of anything. Absolutely zero evidence of anything. And yet what they did was, here's the article, James Clapper knew there was no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion in 2016. What they did was simply this. They fabricated the possibility of a crime, and then they investigated the possibility of a crime. They didn't investigate a crime. So what they did was just insidious. They set up and fabricated Trump. Meanwhile, you have the left who live in the liberal equivalent of Tron, like the video game Tron. And they're stuck there. They don't know like any other reality. The average liberal, the average person on the left spends at least an hour on Twitter a day. Very likely 2 to 3. Very likely 2 to 3. AOC alone has to spend that amount of time. I mean, it's not like she's pushing Medicare for All legislation in the House, which already exists. So they know they know that they're deceiving voters. They're not interested in that. And then you have pundits on the left saying, oh yeah, no. They care about Russia. They care about doing taxes, Trump's taxes. They care about anything. Then you have the IRS who apologized to to conservatives for focusing on them and targeting them. So, I mean, it's just overt. What they've done is just horrendous. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Thank you.